Today, we are cutting through all the clutter and the noise to show you what are the best blushes of all time. I've tested product for a really long time. That's what my job has been for the last 15 years. And when I tell you I am picky with the type of blushes that I like to wear, I'm picky. So I have it narrowed down to the top 10. We're diving into the nitty gritty, the shades, the textures. We're going to break it down into what is the criteria that makes an amazing blush. So what is the criteria we are judging all of these blushes by today? The first one is the formula type. Is it a powder? Is it a liquid? Is it a cream? That matters because depending on your skin type, you may work better with a certain formula over the other. For example, if you have oily skin, wearing a super dewy, creamy blush may add too much shine to your skin and make it look a little greasy. But if you have dry skin, a nice dewy blush is going to work great. So formula type does matter. Pigmentation, is this a sheer? Is this a buildable? Is it a full pigmentation? That matters too because some days I want just a light flush of color, something very simple and natural. On my full glam days where I have full makeup on, I want something a bit more pigmented. Next criteria is the finish. Is this a matte blush? Is it satin? Is it shimmery? Is it creamy dewy, like with the cream formulas? What type of finish is that? That matters because, again, your skin type is going to dictate what type of formula that you want. If you have oily skin, you may not want to wear a super shimmery type of blush. A matte one's going to look beautiful on you. But if you have dry skin, you wear a super dry matte blush, it may make you look a little thick and cakey. So pair up the finish of the blush to match the type of skin that you have. The next is the shade range. How many shades does this brand offer? Is it poor? Is it just a few colors? Is it excellent? It has more than 10 colors. That's going to help you decide, am I actually going to find a blush color that's going to work for my skin color? And then the last but not least is the price. How much do these blushes cost and is it worth my money? Coming in at number 10 is the Hourglass Ambient Light Blushes. I have these on the list because they are really beautiful, but it's number 10 for me because I wish the color selection was a little bit better. We'll talk about that in a second, but these are well loved because the formula, it's a baked formula. So it has a very smooth, soft texture. It's very easy to blend. And a lot of people like these because it has light pigmentation. So our criteria, starting with the formula, it is obviously a powder and the pigmentation is sheer. So if you like that clean girl aesthetic, you don't want super bright cheeks, you just want a very soft, natural glow, this would be amazing for you. The finish of it is satin and shimmery. They have a couple options. Some choices they have, it says matte, but for me, it comes across very satin. It's not too flat. It looks like skin, and then they have some shimmery options as well. And the price of these is $45. So it is on the high end, but I do believe that it's such a high price point because the packaging is really beautiful. And because it's a baked formula, usually baked formulas cost more than, say, a traditional pressed powder formula that you see across the market. And the shade range of this is fair. I would say anywhere between 6 to 10 colors is going to be fair. Can you find a color that matches you? Probably. An excellent rating would be over 10 colors of blushes. You definitely can find something that works for you. So I gave the shade range a fair. I wish the deep skins were a little bit more pigmented, so maybe I'll say shade range between poor and fair. At number 9, we have a classic OG, and that is the NARS Powder Blush. This has been around for a long time. Do you guys remember years ago, like this was the blush? I think it was 2014, 2015. Everyone talked about NARS Orgasm. So that's the color I have here. The formula type of this is obviously a powder, and I would say the pigmentation of this is medium to full. So it is, depending on the color you get, you can get a really pigmented cheek color, but on some of the colors, they're a little bit more buildable. Like this one right here is Orgasm X is the color. The finish, they have two options. They have some matte finishes. They have a shimmery. I got the shimmery one and it looks beautiful on the skin. It gives me a luminescent glow. It's shimmery, but it's not glittery. It just looks gorgeous if you want a nice sheen to the cheeks. The price of this is $32. So I feel like it's fair for the quality that you're getting, and the pan size is a pretty good size, and it's obviously NARS. It's a very sleek packaging. The shade range is excellent. Right now, I see that they have 15 colors. So you definitely, depending on if you're fair all the way up to deep skin, you can find a shade that will work for you. So our sponsor for today's video is my favorite at-home face device that I use every single day to snatch my jawline. A lot of you guys think that I lost weight. It's not that. I promise this device. I've been using it for many, many months now, and I've seen a huge difference in how tight my jawline is, especially as I've gotten older. So this is the Blue Mean Face Pro device. It's a device that uses microcurrent therapy to help tighten the skin, build collagen, improve texture, and even has a light setting that can help you with acne and breakouts. But my personal favorite to use it is for tightening my skin. So what you do is you hold the button Has different light settings. So the green light setting is meant to improve lymphatic drainage, help with puffiness, and also tighten the skin. So what you're gonna do is take the device and you run it here along the jawline, and I'll even come up here under the chin to make sure I tighten under here as well. So let me show you the difference between this side and this side. Do you see how this one is slightly tighter here? I have a little bit of a fold right here. This side, every time I use it, it lifts it a little bit more. So over time, gradually, you'll see more improvement as you continue to use it. This is called the age reverser setting, and this is meant to build collagen. So if you feel like as you get older, you're missing your collagen, put it on the red light setting, same thing. Run it across any part of your skin that you want to build the collagen. And then the last setting is the blue light, and this is called the skin smoother. This is meant to help with acne and breakouts. If you have a flare up at all, put it on the blue light therapy and run it across your skin, and it'll help your acne to clear up much faster. So it has a lot of great uses, you guys, but I'm telling you, I swear by this. I've used it almost for a full year now, and I'm telling you, my jawline is so much tighter. It's so relaxing. It's become a part of my nightly routine. So I'll put all the information in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. Thank you, Blue Mean, so much for sponsoring today's video. Number 8 is the Haus Labs Color Fuse Blush. Now, you guys, I went to go do my research for this blush because I've had this for a little while. They're sold out and they're not on the Sephora website. I'm going to be so upset if they don't bring this back. So anyone at Haus Labs, please bring back these blushes. They're so good. So this is number 8 on my list. I almost moved it up higher because it's such a beautiful formula. So the one I have here is a matte finish. And obviously this is the formula type as a powder. The pigmentation is full. So if you like a very saturated pigmented cheek, which is pretty still on trend right now, these are amazing. But this formula, you all, is so smooth. It's a talc-free formula. So for me, that's important because you guys know my thoughts on talc and all that. But if you guys are allergic or you have sensitivity to talc, this is a great option. And it's such a beautiful, smooth formula. The finish of this is satin for me. So it's not super matte. It's not super shimmery. It's just a nice sheen to the skin. It just looks like the texture of skin. And the price of these is $38, which in my opinion is really great considering how big this size is. Like, here's my head, you guys. Look how big this compact is. The weight of this, it's 11 grams. That's a huge blush, 11 grams. So value for this for the size is amazing. And I love how sleek the packaging is. The shade range I have is fair. It's not amazing. There's 6 colors, but what they did great is they made sure they had excellent choices for deep skin and fair. So there's some really rich, brightly colored blushes that were great for deep skin. And then something like this works for me. It's a little bit softer in color. So even though there's only 6 shades, I do feel like everyone can find one that works for them. Coming in at number 7 is the Merit Flush Balm Cream Cheek. It is such a cool formula. It's these little pots like this. I love the compact. It's unique packaging. This formula type is a cream. So if you have dry skin, even combination skin, and you want just a really nice creamy formula that gives a nice dewiness to this. I'll swatch it next to this one here. It just gives a nice luminosity. It's glowy. It looks fresh on the skin. Beautiful formula. It glides really well. It blends easily. It's not too thick or cakey. It's just very smooth. The pigmentation on this is sheer, so you have to build it up quite a bit if you want a really bright cheek, but it works if you like that very clean girl aesthetic. You want just a soft color on the cheeks, very easy, low key, and natural. This would be a great option for you. The finish of this is dewy, so it has a nice sheen to it. So like I said, again, I think it works best for dry to combination skin. I think oily could wear it, but it will give you a shine to the cheek. So I say dry to combination would be best for. The price of it is $30. So I do feel like it's fair for the amount you get because a little goes a long way. Like, I've had this for a while. I've used it many times and I'm not even making a dent in it yet. So I do think it'll last me a while. The shade range of this is fair. They have 8 colors and they keep adding more. I think they have 9 now. They added a new color. So I think that the shade range is actually pretty good. I noticed they have some really deep, rich pigmented ones and they just came out with a bright red, which would look so gorgeous on deep skin. So I'm going to give it a fair to excellent rating for the shade range. At number 6 is the Benefit Powder Blushes. This is an OG. These have been around since before I started YouTube. They're just a classic. A lot of people don't talk about these anymore just because I think they've been around for a while, but they still hit. They're amazing. So the color I have is the color Sunny, and I like these blushes a lot because they're still really smooth. They're richly pigmented. They feel nice. They blend easily. They have lots of colors to choose from. So the formula type of this is obviously a powder. The pigmentation for me is buildable, and that's why I like these so much. It's not so pigmented to where you're like, whoo, you got to blend it out. It's buildable. So you can apply a layer, add a little bit more if you need more saturation and color. And then the finish of these, they have lots of options. They have satin, they have matte, they have shimmery. So that's why I like these so much. You have lots of options of the type of finishes that you want to get. So everyone has something that'll work for their skin type. The price of these is $32, which I do think is fair for the amount that you get. The only thing I'll say about this is because it's in this box here, it's not as convenient. I wish their packaging was a little bit upgraded because I know it's super cute with the cardboard packaging on that. I would love to see them upgrade it to something a bit more sleek, but it is really, really fun. And I'm telling you, the blushes are great. The shade range is excellent. They have 10 colors and they always keep adding to it. They have limited edition releases with colors that they'll bring in and they'll take back. But right now there's 10 colors. So I feel like everyone has something that will work for them. At number 5 is the Laura Mercier Blush Color Infusion. I feel like no one's talking about these. No one. I never hear anyone talk about these blushes and they're so good. So these blushes I really like because they're very smooth. When I run my finger over it, it is the most finely milled, smooth, dreamy type of formula I've used in a really, really long time. It is incredibly soft. So if you are looking for a blush that's going to give you a very ethereal effect, very easy to blend, very soft and natural, these would be my go-to. So the criteria for this, obviously, this is a powder blush, but it's also a buildable formula. So the pigmentation is light, and that's why I like these. So if you are just for every day, you want something for work, not too pigmented or oversaturated, just very natural looking, but still a powder, this would be my top recommendation. The finish of these, it comes in both matte and shimmer. So the color I have here is rosé, and it's a matte blush, but it doesn't look flat. It doesn't look cakey or thick. It's just a very natural, soft, I would almost call it like a satin or velvety type finish, even though it says matte on their site. The price of this is $37, which I do think is fair for the nice componentry, how beautiful the formula is. And the shade range of these, I would say, is fair. They have 8 colors. I would say, though, I would like to see the deeper skin options being a little bit more pigmented or a little bit deeper in color, but I feel like if you are fair up to caramel skin, I think you have good options. Deep skin, I'd like to see them improve a little bit, but they do have 8 colors, so I feel like at least there's some options there. But again, the formula, absolutely beautiful. At number 4, we have the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush. Now, I looked up reviews of these on Sephora as I was doing all my research, and it wasn't as high rated as what I expected. I was like, okay, this blush for me is one of my holy grail status. Like, I really like this blush because it's buildable. So this blush, obviously, the formula type is a powder and the pigmentation is buildable. And that's what I love so much about it, is that the colors are beautiful, the texture is gorgeous, very easy to blend. And I wear this on every day, just when I'm running errands. I want a very soft, natural cheek. This is my go-to because it blends like a dream. The color I have here is Creamy Peach. That one's my favorite. The finish of this, they have satin and shimmery options. So if you, depending on which one you want, the one I have is a more satin finish, and it's just the texture of it's so finely milled. It's just beautifully soft. The price of these is $28, so I feel like it's pretty fair. The pans are not massive, but because a little goes a long way, I feel like $28 because it's 4.4 grams is fair. Is it a huge pan? No, but I still think this will last you a good year or so if you're using it on the regular. And the shade range of this, I will say, is poor. I wish Mario would come out with more colors. There's 5 colors, so I'd like to see him expand it, maybe have some brighter options for deep skin that would work, but 5 is fair. It's not as many I'd like to see, but this is a somewhat newer brand. It's not like it's this mass corporate brand like a L'Oreal or something like that that has the budget to do a lot of colors. So I'll give grace there because I do really think this is a great formula. I love Mario as an artist. I reach for this one all the time. At number 3 is the Valentino Eye to Cheek eyeshadow and cheek color. Whew, it's a long name, y'all, but it looks like this. This is obviously a luxury brand. I actually bought this to roast it because I was like, $52 for a blush, and like, what? You know, like, this is so expensive. I bought it to kind of roast it, and then as I started wearing it more and using it, I fell in love, and now it's one of my favorite, most used blushes of all time. And yes, it is pricey, but I'll tell you why it's worth it in a second. So the formula type of this is obviously a powder, and the pigmentation of this is buildable. When you do the first stroke, it gives you a nice soft sheen, and then if you want to add more color to make it more pigmented, I just keep adding more. The finish of it is satin. So what's so beautiful about this formula is it has very light reflecting pearls in there, so it's not shimmery, but it gives you a sheen. And the texture, so this is what it looks like right here. The texture, it almost feels cream because it's so soft. It's like when you run your finger over it, it is the softest. It literally feels like a hybrid between a powder and a cream. It's such a unique formula. If you guys get a chance, go to Sephora and try these out. It is an incredibly different formula based off of any others that I've tried in the powder format. The price, like I said, of these is $52, so it is pricey, I will say that, but just try it. Just test it and try it. Let me know what you guys think. The shade range of it is excellent. They have 12 colors. When I go to Sephora right now, the 12 colors, I think 4 or 5 of them are sold out. So that tells you how popular this is. Everyone is buying these up, but 12 colors, great shade range. Everyone has a color that they can find that will work for them. At number 2 is the Tower 28 Cream Blushes. You all, I cannot stop wearing these. I gotta show you really quick how I wear these though. So these are the most beautiful cream blushes. So that's our formula type. It is a cream. If you have dry to combination skin, these look so gorgeous. Again, oily skin, you can definitely still try it, but I think if you have, like me, I have dry skin, it adds so much luminosity to my cheeks, and I like applying it with a brush like this, kind of a stippling brush. And let me show you guys what happens is it just gives you, now this is really pigmented, so I'm gonna tone this down a little bit. I chose a brighter color, but what I do is I stipple it on and then I take a sponge and kind of blend this out a little bit, and look how just it looks so dewy, so fresh on the skin. That's why it's my number 2, because I really like the formula. It's hard to find a good cream that's not thick, cakey, hard to blend out. Like this really does blend really easily. So the pigmentation of this, I would say, is full. Absolutely full. Like as you could see, that was pretty bold. The finish is dewy, so it's going to give you that nice shine. And then the price point of these is $20. I feel like for how much product you get and such pigmentation, a little goes a long way. $20 to me, I feel like is very, very fair. And I love the sleek packaging. I know it's simple with just the clear plastic, but for me, I really like it. I think it's unique and different. And the shade range, I would say, is fair to excellent. It has 9 shades, but I feel like the color choices they do have works for everyone. Like this color, which is Happy Hour, would look incredible on deep skin. And for me, having more fair skin, it still works. I just have to kind of blend it out a little bit softer, go in with a light hand. So that's why I think these work for everyone. So even though they have 9 shades, I'm still going to give it an excellent rating because the options they have are really good. The options they have do work for fair all the way up to deep. Are you all ready for my number 1 blush of all time? Drum roll. It's probably not going to surprise you, but it is the Patrick Ta blushes. You all, he knocked it out of the park with these blushes. They are so good. It is one I reach for all the time. And what's great about them is you have the powder on the bottom, you have the cream on top, so you can wear one, the other, you can layer them. So many options there. I think the idea of having the two together, cream and powder, was absolutely genius. So the formula type of this is powder and cream, like I said, and the pigmentation of it is buildable. So what I love about the powder is it's very finely milled. It blends really well. It's smooth. It's creamy. If I want to add more pigmentation, I just add another layer. It doesn't look thick or cakey at all. And the cream is really, really smooth too. It just gives you this nice shine. Let me swatch the cream for you all. Do you see how it just gives a like nice dewy effect? And I apply it the same way as the Tower 28. I just stipple it on with a brush like this, or I'll even take a sponge and apply it directly that way. The price of these is $36, and I feel that is extremely fair considering how much product you get. You get cream and powder, but the powder alone is 4 grams. So I mean, that's still pretty fair amount of product. I think $36 is just a fair price for what you're getting. The shade range is excellent. 11 colors. I think they just added a new color to 12 colors, and they are pigmented in the deep skin tone. So everyone, depending on if you have porcelain skin all the way up to very rich deep skin, you have a color that works for you. So I love that they just came out of the gates with lots of colors to choose from. So hands down, me this year, this would be the top #1 blush of all time. I think they just did a great job with that one. So let me know if you guys agree with my choices in the comments below. What is your favorite blush? Let me know so I can research it and try out some more. So don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for another makeup video. Bye!